Oh boy, it's getting wild out there in Packer
Man,
country.
is it? I was thinking like
It
the
is.
Super Bowl. What a game!
You were thinking that, weren't you? We'll talk about that quick. Then
Most
we got to get
boring
into
game I ever watched.
Goody's Whoppers. The what? Most boring game you ever watched? For real?
It's pretty boring.
Why? What? Why?
All I know is this. Why
I
is
thought
it
you
that
loved Kenneth Walker was awesome. The
how
defenses
come
were awesome. What do you want?
I don't know if Seattle's defense was that awesome. I think Drake May kind of sucked. I think Drake May, like a guy touched him and like a corner, number 21, Witherspoon, who's a good player, blitzes him. Drake May is much bigger than him and just falls down as soon as he gets touched. Where Sam Darnold is like shoving a guy off and then stepping up and throwing the ball. Maybe it wasn't always accurate, but at least he got out of sacks.
Yeah.
He should have been sacked like 7 times that game, but he got out of it. Where
Yeah.
Drake May got sacked every time somebody even was anywhere near him, he just kind of was like, and went down like I don't know, like a Kirk Cousins.
Oh, come on.
Just saying.
Fighting words.
Tom Brady would have stepped to the side and then stepped up and got away and threw a nice pass. This guy, Tom Brady. Sorry, Patriots fans.
Oh, well. Second, he was runner up in MVP voting. What are you talking about here?
I don't know how.
What are you talking about
What
here?
we just watched.
I thought, yeah, Sam Darnold was impressive the way he just handled it because I thought it was awesome. I thought it was amazing to see defenses that just went after it and attacked and were like, nope, we're not going to sit back here and just let you do whatever you want. We're going after you. Everybody's going after everybody. It's great.
Yeah, it was something else. Haven't seen that while watching Packer games. I can tell you that.
Look how well it worked. It's like, ooh. So you mean if you like run some crazy blitzes and get pressure up the middle and do stuff and overload sides and stuff like that, you can cause the offense problems where they don't get to get first downs and conversions and keep the ball for 10 million years? You can do that?
Yeah, but part of it was the teams had good enough cornerbacks and defensive players that could cover,
Right.
and they played man coverage a lot of the time, or a zone where if the guy came in his zone, you just blanket him. And then the pressure happened so fast, the quarterbacks had nowhere to go with the ball.
But there's a difference, right? You saw players attacking. You saw players being super. You saw. I had to look this up because I was like, how big are these guys? Like, how big are these Seattle defensive backs and all this sort of stuff? Witherspoon guys like 185 pounds.
I know.
Other safety guys like 190 some pounds. I'm like, these are not huge guys, but guess what they were doing? Flying around and making plays and getting in on tackles and tackling the running backs and doing all this stuff. And now we're not going to do that with our team. No, our safeties are going to sit back and play pass first, and our linebackers are going to sit back and play pass. That's what we're going to do.
Get ready for a lot of long drives when we're on defense because we're not going to stop anybody. We're going to get no 3 and outs.
There's so many 3 and outs in the Super Bowl. More 3 and outs than any game I've seen all year. Amazing.
That's because they're used to watching Packer games, dude.
Jesus.
The only time you get to see a 3 and out is when it's the second half of a Packer game and they can't hold the lead. Oh,
The other big news.
Matty LaFleur.
So anyway, we'll say from the Super Bowl, I thought the defenses were awesome. I liked how they played. I thought Seattle did some interesting stuff. Kenneth Walker is like crazy as hell. Just like walks up and skips around and then is like, phew, now I go fast. And then and then I go really fast. And I'm really strong and he's kind of wild. Is he a free agent? They got to sign him again or they're going to let him go? They're like, you're the Super Bowl MVP. Running back, see you later, buddy. 25? Nah.
Running back, see you later.
Sign with some other team, 2 years, you'll be hurt and done. Right? Have a couple injury seasons.
I don't know.
That's how it goes so often.
Should we get it? You want to talk about? Should we talk about that for a second?
Sure.
Jason Wilde had an article about
Josh Jacobs
and how he sucked last year, but he should be back. But his contract is you could save a lot of money by getting rid of him. And Mark Tauscher was like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I've been saying that since they signed him. And Mark Tauscher's like, I mean, he's just not a home run hitter. He's just not a home. And he's not.
No.
He hasn't been.
Right? No.
Like I said, the year before his biggest run, he had to break 7 tackles to get a 20-yard touchdown in the playoffs. That's not. He's not scary. The defenses are not scared of him. Plus, our offensive line sucks, and our play calls are bad. That's the point. He's not worth it. Cut him. Give me Emmanuel freaking Wilson. I'd rather have him out there running the ball. He's the only guy who had 100 yards this year.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs never had a 100-yard rushing game. Not one time.
And,
this whole year.
What do you have, like 28 carries that game, too? Load him up. Give him the rock.
Emmanuel Wilson's our guy. And then hopefully Floyd is actually, or whatever his name is, Marshawn Lloyd, or whatever the hell his name is.
Done.
He'll actually be healthy and he can play a couple. Done. Just give me 5 snaps. Give Emmanuel Wilson and Chris Brooks, and then Lloyd for like 5 snaps. And you can run Savion Williams out of the backfield, and you can run Jaden Reed out of the backfield, and you can do Tucker Kraft out of the backfield.
The big feature of tonight's show is going to be about analyzing Gute's press conference, which apparently nobody realizes all the stuff he said and did. But before we get to that, one of the things he said was he was asked about Josh Jacobs, and he said he's got a lot of good years ahead of him yet. That's what he said. It's like he's one of our key players. He's a leader. He's such a warrior. He's called him a warrior. And then he's got a lot of good years ahead of him. He said, what running back that's gotten a 300 freaking carries almost every single year of his career and is now 7 years in or whatever has a lot of good years ahead of him? What are you talking about?
I don't know, but he said that same thing about Aaron Jones. He said how we want Aaron Jones back and blah blah blah. Then they cut him. I don't know. Just saying. That's what he said 2 years ago.
That's true. That's what Andy Herman. That was one of the actual things Andy Herman pointed out.
Yeah. Big leader of the team.
Heartbeat.
Awesome guy. Heartbeat of the team. Aaron Jones.
Rip the heart out.
We want him back. He's the greatest thing ever. Of course, I want all my guys back. That's a Gute line every year. Oh, I want all my. We want all of our guys back. And then cutcha. Now, if it's Rashawn Gary and Eldon Jenkins, sure, because they're useless or really overpaid.
Are they gonna extend Rashawn Gary?
If they extend Rashawn Gary, I'm taking this damn Packer shirt off and I'm throwing it in the garbage. I'm done. I can't wear the Packer shit anymore because I can't do it.
But he, like you said, maybe he fits Gannon's defense. Hold the point of attack. Don't do anything.
No.
Oh shit. Okay.
Right,
Rick says it was fun to watch Seattle. Guys, just go balls to the wall, elephants and helicopters. Yeah. What? That was an old saying from one of our old coaches. Balls to the wall, elephants and helicopters. Was that Dean? That must have been a Dean Blonick. He didn't even have 1,000 yards this season. Sorry, but Jacobs is cooked. That's right.
Yeah.
Gute's trying to sell. Maybe Gute's thinking he'll get something in a trade for him. Maybe that's what he's thinking. That's why he's trying to dress him up. You know, he likes to dress guys up, dress them up a little bit, and then try to get something for him. Maybe he's thinking he'll pull off another one of those slick trades. Like he dressed up Rodgers, dressed up Jair. Oh, wait, that didn't work. Then he dressed up, who else? Some other guys he likes to dress up. But I don't think it's working, Gute. Everybody knows he was hurt. His knee ballooned to the size of his head. And it's only going to be worse from here on out. You need some new running backs. You got to get another running back. And you better not whiff in the draft. Teams find good running backs from all these schools all over the place in all rounds of the draft. It ain't got to be an early one. Just give me one who's going to be decent and last and not get hurt a million times. That's it. That's all I'm looking for. All right. Gute, you said, tell everybody while I set this up, you only remember one thing from Gute's press conference. What was it?
Gute said
that. You don't even remember it.
I listened to it while I was eating lunch at Burger King, and I listened to it. And I honestly don't remember anything he said except for when they asked about the special teams, he said that it was their best special teams in recent years. He said our kick coverage or our coverage units were good. Awesome, Gute. That's all I remember. Him saying that the special teams was good. So apparently having just good coverage units is good enough. That's only 1/3 of the. That's not even 1/3. That's like 1/4 of your special teams units is the coverage team. Because there's the kick team, there's the return team, there's the freaking field goals. So all you're good at is punt and kickoff coverage. And actually, you gave up some pretty decent returns in the Anyways, that's all I remember. So I don't know what you're talking about. I listened to the
All
whole
right.
thing. It was just a bunch of more Gute nonsense. He just spews a bunch of crap that doesn't make any sense, and I don't really listen to him.
Well, okay. So let me just say this real quick. Andy Herman did like a whole recap of this Gute thing, right? Oh, I don't know what I just did to you there. Let me figure that out.
That was me.
Oh, it was you that did it. All right. Well, let's put you back there. Andy Herman did this whole thing, like Gute recap of the Gute thing and da, right? So so here's the thing. He was all excited. He said all is good, JJ. Is that what he said? Yeah, he did say that. But one of the things too is like if you wanna kind of, so Andy Herman thought he had like what he said, what Gute said, like this big revelation thing where he was going to reveal. So I watched his whole video on it, expecting he picked up on some of the stuff I picked up on, and it was very little about that. He glossed over a bunch of the things that I wanted to highlight, and instead he gave you like a blow by blow about this was asked, this was what he said. This was asked, this is what he said. Really quick and blasted through some stuff. And then the things he got hung up on was that the cornerbacks are fine, and that a couple things like that, which are whatever. And then he said how GMs have to lie. That's part of the job description and and all this stuff. We know that. But what GMs, and they do have to lie. But what they also do not have to do is repeatedly throw their head coaches under the bus. And that's what he did a million times in this press conference. So I'm going to just share it with you and you tell me what y'all think. You tell me if I'm crazy or if you are reading what I'm reading, because I can tell you right now, what I'm reading is what was in Brian Gutekunst's head and what he meant. I for sure know that. So first clip is this. First clip, he's asked about their flexibility. So he's also kind of delusional. We know about what he thinks, but he's asked about their flexibility in free agency and what they have going there. How does he feel? One of the guys asked him, "Are you in a really tough spot for that?" Blah blah blah. And this is what he said.
But yeah, I believe we have all the flexibility to do what we need to do. We also have a bunch of young players, really good players that we would like to keep around here for a while. So we'll work through that. But no, I feel good about our flexibility. And I think the last few years, Russ has done such a good job of keeping us at a point where if opportunities present themselves, we're never not able to do those things.
Okay, Ben. So a couple little nuggets in there. He's not throwing LaFleur under the bus in this one, obviously. But what is he talking about here? What are these, I quote, a bunch of really good young players they want to keep around here? Who the hell is he talking about?
Well, he's talking about a bunch of guys who are key contributors like Romeo Dobbs, Sean Ryan, Rasheed Walker, Kingsley Enagbare. I don't know who else. There's more guys than that, but those four for sure, because they're key players that actually start at their positions, and they're going to have to replace them or keep them. But I don't know where this money's coming from. They're 40-something million over the cap. Now,
he did also say Russ has kept them in a good position to make moves if they need to. So what does that mean? Translate.
That means we're going to have to restructure guys and do the Kenny Clark, where we extend them 5 years and then to make the cap look good, but it really doesn't help the team because you're keeping guys that suck. So what you have to do is cut the cord, like San Francisco 49ers do, and the Seahawks do. If there's a guy who sucks, they cut the cord. We don't do that, and that's why we have Kenny Clark for 1 million years, and that's why Rashawn Gary stinks, and Elton Jenkins stinks, and all the stuff. And Jair, it took him way too long to get rid of him.
JJ, he did go on about that. We'll have a little bit.
I didn't hear that. I must have missed that one.
He didn't say that, but he basically said, "Oh, once Banks got going, got healthy again, then he looked really great," and blah blah blah. And then
no, he didn't.
This is what Gute says. This whole press conference, I'm telling you right now, the whole thing is Gute thinking he is the genius of the world, and he did everything right, and it's everybody else's fault. That's why he kept throwing LaFleur under the bus. But basically, no matter what the situation was, no matter what player they're talking about, his evaluation, his assessment, his reasoning was right. He's great. He knows what he's doing. All this stuff. But we'll hear him say it. You don't have to listen to me say it. But yeah, I just think it's interesting. The other thing, right, is that was he possibly referencing the way those contracts are set up? So some of those big price, big name guys can be cut easily here without too big of a cap hit.
Let's hope so.
Let's hope that would be the smart move.
But we still paid those guys a way crap ton of money for nothing.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter.
I mean, when you think about it,
it doesn't matter he was wrong because we can just get out of it. Yeah, we paid him a lot of money, but we were successful last year, right? Or something. Look at this face, huh?
Oh, that's the Goody smug face.
The smug bug face.
That's the nostrils flared, jaw clenched, probably asshole clenched. Goody is angry. Wait, here, listening to this question. Let's hear it.
All right, our friend Bill Huber asked the next question.
He don't like. Okay, he doesn't like Bill Huber. Then that face means he is not a fan of Bill Huber. Let's see.
Right.
Let's see
Here we go.
Things. Do you feel like if you guys had stayed healthy, all these questions would be totally different? Or kind of watching in the moment, did you feel like, this is a good team, but maybe we're just not, or maybe we're missing something?
Yeah, that's a good question, Bill. I think for me, I felt through the end of the season into the playoffs, we had everything we needed to win those football games. So, again, whenever you lose players, but that's the National Football League, and you have to be prepared for that, and you have to be prepared to move on. And certainly, it never helps, but at the same time, I never felt underhanded at any time going into these games at the end of the stretch of the season. So,
what does that say to you?
Well, it says two things.
He felt we had everything we needed.
It's clear he
win
has
all
no
those
idea
games.
how to evaluate talent based on that. That's the first thing I take from it. Because if he thinks it's clear that they had everything they needed, he would be incorrect. Because they had no defensive linemen. They had two guys who could sort of play, and that's it. Like, their D tackle situation was nothing, which we all talked about in the draft day. Everybody and their grandma wanted Gute to take a D tackle in one of the highest rated defensive tackle drafts of all time. Just like when it was the highest rated wide receiver draft with Jackson Smith and Jigba, who of course did do everything in the Super Bowl, but he was awesome in the playoffs and all year long, and won Offensive Player of the Year this year. And why? Because he was a difference maker. He's just a guy who gets open and makes plays. But that was the year where there was a million good receivers, and who did we take? Nobody. Or maybe that wasn't that year. I don't know, but maybe that was the year we took Jaden Reed. I can't remember. But anyways, whatever year it was where there was like a million good receivers, we took none. That much I know. Same thing this year.
2021, all those
last
good
year was
offensive
a
linemen.
bunch of good corners. 2024 didn't take a corner.
Yeah.
This year, awesome a bunch of good defensive tackles. Didn't take one until like the last round, and then we picked up a guy, Stackhouse, who wasn't even drafted. And that's how we addressed the situation. And when you say that you had everything you needed, that's ridiculous. Jeff Halfley did everything he could with what he had. I'll give him that. The offensive line was a mess. But like what you're saying, I know what you hear. What you hear is Goody saying LaFleur had everything there. And he also had an 18-point lead with the ball going in the second half of the playoff game and lost. And that's probably why he's saying that. He's like, hey, they had the lead. I gave them the players to have the lead, and then I don't know what they did in the second half. And he's not wrong about that either. That he's right about. But he's wrong about the fact that they had everything they need. They were lucky they played the Bears. If they would have played the Rams or the Seahawks or the 49ers or any of those teams, they would have got their asses kicked. But because they played the Bears, who were, kind of a mess themselves, but they had Caleb Williams who could just make a play here and there and do stuff. But yeah. Yeah, Goody's crazy, man.
Okay. He tripled and quadrupled and what is it? Sextupled down or whatever it is. We'll just keep there's more stuff. Let's hear more from him. Let me get to the next one here. Ooh, I gotta find it. Mr. Gutekunst said
he's always angry about
He was very mad in this press conference. I don't know if anybody picked up on that or not.
With Hobbs, but we'll see how it goes into next year.
Here he talks about the law firm of Hobbs and Banks, and this is just a quick hitter. But again, just to, he kept saying this multiple times.
Follow up to that, then.
Sure.
Have you made decisions on whether either or both will be back next season?
Listen to this.
We really haven't, with losing 5 games in a row. I don't know if we've made any decisions on anybody yet.
Just had to throw that in there.
Wow.
With losing 5 games in a row, I don't know if we made any decisions on anybody yet. Multiple times during this press conference, he had to talk about losing 5 games in a row, losing all the games down the stretch, not winning games late in the season. When asked about what do you, I think this is in one. If I don't,
That question had nothing to do with the season or the games. That was what are these 2 players going to be back because you signed them and they sucked balls? Are you going to keep those 2 sucky players that you signed, Mr. Gute, the master of signing guys? And his answer was, well, we lost 5 games in a row, so I don't know who we're going to keep. That doesn't answer the question. That he just made up a thing to make it look bad. I don't know. But you're part of those 5 losses there, Gute. When the cupboard's bare, the coach can only do so much. I mean, especially our coach, who's not a good coach. If we had a good coach, maybe we could have done something. But we have an average coach. He's a good guy, but he's an average coach.
Yeah, a lot of the ladies think he's cute, so I guess that's something. Not Gute, but LaFleur. Okay, next question.
Wait, Gute.
Nobody thinks Gute.
LaFleur's
No,
cute?
I think he does. Someone asked him if they were going to work more closely together. He's like, well, we're not moving in together. I mean, if that's what you're talking about, we work pretty closely already, blah, blah, blah,
Well,
blah, blah.
you must have listened to this press conference about 7 times because I heard it once. I didn't remember any of this
I
stuff.
don't know how you missed that one. He talked about them living together. They're not going to do that. Anyway, next question was the here's the next question. Watch this.
Matt and Russ are the right people. Obviously, the results weren't what you wanted. I would ask Matt this if he was here. What do you feel like you have to do better now that you have a little bit of security to get you to where you want to go personally?
Yeah, I think obviously just we got to win the games that matter the most in December and January, right? That's kind of been the tale of the last couple of years. This team's ready to do that.
The team's ready to do that. Got to win those games in December and January. He just said it. His team's ready to do it. Who's responsible?
And we haven't done that. So that's kind of the next step. So I think, as you evaluate every season, you're looking at those things. Certainly that was a strength of ours prior to these last couple of years was how we finished, and we were playing our best football at the end of the season. We haven't done that the last 2 years. So I think it's probably getting a little bit back to basics and just making sure that, again, that we're not missing anything in those areas. But
What does that mean?
In what areas? What are those areas?
What does getting back to basics mean? Is he telling the coaches?
I can tell you now, it's not basics. It's game plan and it's using your players correctly, which is not basics. It is coaching, but it has nothing to do with basics. It has to do with, are you putting your players in the best position for them to succeed? Number one. Number two, are you strategically out coaching your opponent? And neither of those things are happening with Matt LaFleur as head coach or offensive coach, whatever you want to say.
Offensive
And Gute
genius.
is correct. Gute is correct on that. Now, he's not giving them much to work with.
But he just said they had everything they need to win all those games.
Well, he's wrong. But you're right. I think what this is I think that's Gute's subtle way of not being so subtle, of basically saying, hey, I'm not the problem. Fans, listen to my one press conference that I get to have after the draft and everything, and it's not my fault that we sucked. I traded for Micah Parsons, everybody. I was the genius who, gave up 2 first-round picks for a player and gave him $48 million a year, which is the highest-paid defensive player in the whole league. Genius.
Did you hear the news from Micah Parsons too?
No.
He just said he would leave Green Bay if they had an international team overseas. he'd want to be the first one to be on that special team if the NFL had expanded to an overseas team.
Good. Send him out of town.
He's been on the Packers.
Picks.
He's been on the Packers for not even was on the Packers for part of one season, and he's already talking about leaving. If
he's got a new defensive coordinator. That could have something to do with it. I think he liked Hafley, and Hafley's gone. So
wants him to hold the point of attack. Wants him to hold the point of attack and not go sack anybody.
I don't know. I was when they traded for him. I said, what were my exact words? Do you remember? Oh, we're back.
We lost you for a second, but you came back.
Oh,
you were just gonna say your
my exact words were: I would give up 2 first-round picks and all that money for Myles Garrett. I would give up 2 first-round picks and all that money for Max Crosby.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if I do for Micah Parsons. I don't think he's that big of a difference maker. And I think this season he proved that he wasn't that big of a difference maker. Now, on this Packers defense, he looked like a star because there is nobody else. But just like I've said millions of times, go back and watch Clay Matthews highlights. And you tell me the difference between a star who never got the credit he probably deserved over all those years, by the way.
That's true. That's true.
Compared to the way people talk about Micah Parsons,
yeah,
his impact in the game does not match what Clay Matthews' impact was to the game. But they talk about Micah Parsons like he's Reggie White or something. But he's not. He's not Reggie White. He's not Von Miller. He's not any of those type of guys. He might be maybe Greg Lloyd, who just rushed the quarterback, just rush the quarterback. That's all he had to do. Yeah, if you just have a one dumb guy who just runs, and he's relentless. He works hard. I'm not saying that. that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But guys like Max Crosby, guys like, even Clay Matthews, they would just mess up plays constantly. They'd be in the backfield making tackles for loss, messing up the quarterback, blowing up things so the other guys can make plays. And Parsons did do that a couple times. There was a good run with him and Devontae Wyatt where they worked together on pass rush moves when they were both on the inside. They had a good combo between those two that worked for a couple games there before Wyatt got hurt, and then Micah Parsons got hurt, and then it was over. But
yeah,
and that helped. But he needed a teammate there.
Right.
It wasn't like Clay Matthews off the edge or Max Crosby destroying it in the middle or off the edge or Myles Garrett just destroyed everybody every week because he's just a human being that's just a freak of nature monster.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And Crosby's just crazy and relentless and
crazy
does
relentless.
Everything.
He's a 4th-round pick and who came from nowhere and just said, "Fuck this, I'm going for it."
Mm-hmm.
And that's the difference. Micah Parsons was a 1st-round pick.
Yep. Who's
a linebacker? Who's probably better at linebacker, but everybody thinks pass rusher is more important. So they're like, "Here, go rush the quarterback." Even though you're smart enough, quick enough, and agile enough, you could probably play anywhere and be more impactful if you played linebacker. But they put him at pass rusher because that's where the money is, and I don't blame him. I want to play. Right. Yeah, I want to play pass rusher too. You get more money, just like just like Zach Tom. They're like, "Hey, you could be a Pro Bowl center," and he's like, "Okay, well, if I play tackle, I'd make more money."
Yep.
And so if I was Zach Tom, I'll stay at tackle. I could be an All-Pro center, or I could be just a really good right tackle and make more money being a really good right tackle.
All right, let's hear a little more. Well, so Gute continues to lay it on about how much of a genius he is in a response to a question about his 1st-round pick from last year, Matthew Golden. So let's hear what he had to say here when he was asked about Matthew Golden.
And we'll kind of see where it goes.
You obviously struck gold.
What were your thoughts on Matthew Golden's rookie season and just his role in the offense?
No, I thought Matthew did an excellent job from the beginning in training camp throughout the season. Whenever he got his opportunities, he capitalized on them. I thought he did an excellent job. Like all players, I think when you go through tough times, when you're losing games and maybe you're not getting as many opportunities as you want, that's going to be frustrating. But I thought he handled it like a pro, and when his number was called on, he performed. And really excited to see what he can do in year 2.
Okay. So, I mean,
I don't disagree with him on this one.
I know, but he's just saying he was excellent. He was great. He was excellent with all his opportunities.
I don't agree. This is what I've been saying all year. When you have a guy who's a playmaker, get him on the field, find a way to get him the ball. Matt LaFleur doesn't do this.
Is this another jab at his coach?
This is a jab at his coach, and it should be. And somebody said, I think it was Andy Herman, because Packer fans were complaining. They were like, "Well, where was Matthew Golden all this time?" And then Andy Herman was like, "Oh, well, Matthew Golden had actually the second most wide receiver snaps in the last 5 games of the year of any receiver on the team." And I'm like, maybe, but they didn't run plays for him.
Yeah.
So it's one of 2 things that happened. Either Matt LaFleur doesn't know what he has and doesn't realize this is the same problem with Tucker Kraft. It took him until week fucking 7 or 8 or whatever it was to figure out that Tucker Kraft is the man, and then he got hurt like the next week. When we've been saying Tucker Kraft's the man since he's halfway through his rookie year, it took him until the 8th week of his 3rd season before you figured out, we might have to give him the ball a little bit because he's a monster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe Matthew Golden did have the second highest amount of snaps at wide receiver. But either Matt LaFleur is not getting the ball or Jordan Love isn't throwing him the ball. And that's the same thing that would happen with Tucker Kraft. Either Jordan Love is not getting Tucker Kraft the ball when he should be, or Matt LaFleur doesn't know how to use them. Either way, it's one of those 2. One of those things goes back to Gute, Jordan Love. The other one goes back to the hiring of Matt LaFleur. But he's not incorrect. When Matthew Golden did something this year that I haven't seen anybody do on a Packer uniform since Donald Driver. And that's make like 5 guys miss, jump over a guy, spin around, and score a touchdown. Donald Driver, that's a Donald Driver move.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Donald Driver was a 6th-round pick.
7th
round pick. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who nobody wanted. And Matthew Golden was a 1st-round wide receiver. But still, that's the kind of guy you need on the field. That's the kind of guy who needs to get 7 to 8 touches a game. Minimum. Minimum 7 to 8 touches a game. Tucker Kraft should get 7 to 8 touches a game minimum. And how do you do that? You cut Josh Jacobs. No more Josh Jacobs. Why are we giving him the ball so much when he does nothing? He is not a home run hitter. You know who is a home run hitter? Matthew Golden. You know who else is a home run hitter? Christian Watson. You know who else is a home run hitter? Tucker Kraft. Those are the guys who can break tackles, run fast, destroy dudes, are mismatches because of size, speed, or just plain awesome guy. Josh Jacobs is not a mismatch. He's an average, tiny little man who's
He's not that tiny.
He's slow. The shit out of me. I'm not saying that. But compared to, like, nobody's scared of him. He's not fast. He's not really that big. I mean, go watch Saquon Barkley. Watch Christian McCaffrey. Watch the moves these guys make. Just watch in the Super Bowl. Watch how Kenneth Walker was, like, just kind of hanging out and then boom, and gone. Josh Jacobs doesn't do that. He just kind of runs up the guy's ass, and if the hole's there, great. And if it's not, he's wrong, and he gets tackled. So he's not wrong. Gute is not wrong there, and so he's correct.
So answer me this:
it's LaFleur or it's Love. That's the answer.
Because
one of those 2 is the problem.
Because I went back and I looked, and I was like, we know the Packers have a history of not playing their 1st-round picks, and they got to wait however many years, and we don't know why. They apparently. Usually it's because we think the guys aren't that, or usually it's because the coaches think the players aren't ready. The GM drafted them because they were not football players. They had high athletic scores. We talked about all this before. Okay. But when you look at other teams, I mean, I went back and I looked. It was like, okay, Puka Nacua. I know he's a 4th-round pick, but he played as a rookie, right? He played a bunch, and he was successul. And McMillan this year was a monster.
Yeah. Well, he was... But he was the number 1. They had nobody else. But in Puka's though, they had Cooper Kupp, who was a veteran, and that's the difference. A good coach who wants to win does not care about hurting his players' feelings. Matt LaFleur apparently doesn't want to hurt his guys' feelings. He's
true.
got some guys who he really likes, and he keeps playing those guys and keeps going to those guys, even though they're just guys. Which is funny. Because we saw the quote with Rasul Douglas where he was like, Matt LaFleur told him, hey, you want to play? We would just play the guy who's the best player. Well, that's not the case anymore. Maybe when Rasul first showed up, that was the case. But now it's not. Because if you wanted to play the best player, you would have played Tucker Kraft right from the start.
Mm-hmm.
Musgrave wouldn't get any freaking snaps. Because he's terrible. He can't block. He can't run after the catch. He's useless. He's honestly the most useless player. He's probably the worst draft pick of Gute's life.
Oh, hold on there. Hold on.
No, I think he actually is.
This man's also drafted Josh Myers.
Hey, Josh Myers. Listen, our running game was better with Josh Myers last year. Our pass protection was better with Josh Myers last year, too, even though he sucked. Somehow, I think he just knew what to do and got the guys in the right spots. I'm just saying. I don't know. It was better.
Don't forget. Yeah, Puke lead right, Puke lead left. That was an effective.
That was a good play.
Look, dude, I'm just saying it's wild. I don't understand it. These other teams draft players, they play them, and the guys, especially at like receiver, like how hard is it? Just get them out there, go run, throw them the freaking ball. Like these, what are we doing? What are you saving them for? What's happening?
And I'll say this, and I think it might be an epidemic of just stupid. I'm starting to think coaches in the NFL are just getting spots because they know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, and not because they're actually good a lot of times. I mean, why is Matt LaFleur's brother all of a sudden a head coach? Dude, where the fuck did that come from? The guy got canned from the Jets, and he wasn't even calling plays for the Rams the last couple of years. McVay is. How does he become a head coach off of that?
Brothers LaFleur, head coaches in the NFL. Like, come on. Come on.
I don't get it. But it's not just that. It's also just go back and watch the Super Bowl. And I understand the Seahawks were getting some pressure at times. But when you watch the play calls, there was no quick play calls. There was no taking advantage of one side of the field. There was no attacking one side, running plays to get guys open. Like, I don't know what Josh McDaniels' offense is, but it wasn't good. Yeah. He wasn't like he was the guy who's been offensive coordinator for 20 years, right? And a head coach twice. And they had no answers for Seattle's defense at all. Mm-hmm. At least the Seahawks had answers for the Patriots defense. It could move the ball, running the ball, and so forth.
Congratulations, Raider Rick. Now you got that guy going to be your head coach.
Who? Oh yeah,
Kubiak.
Seahawks offense coordinator. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, I just saw when I watched that Patriots game. Or the Super Bowl or whatever, Sunday, I was like, doesn't Josh McDaniels have any type of quick pass to get the ball out of May's hands fast? Because he's getting killed.
Yeah.
Like, there was no quick pass. There was one time, I can't remember, I don't remember who it was. I'm pretty sure it was Drake May. The receiver pointed out the blitz was coming off of his side, and then the receiver ran a freaking 20-yard goal route. I'm like, why doesn't the offense allow that receiver to point out? Like, the receiver points, hey, the blitz is coming, and then he just ran straight and never looked back for the ball. Just run 5 yards and turn around, and Drake May throws you the ball. Like, it's not even like rocket scientist. How is that not in the offense? Did you remember that play?
Yeah.
I saw that play, and I was just like, holy crap, because I even said something because we were watching the game. I was like, oh, look, that wide receiver's pointing out the blitz. And Jesse was like, what? You know, because we were watching with Jesse and Jesse's parents, and Jesse's dad was like, oh, yeah. Then I was like, well, he's just running straight. And then Drake May got sacked or had to throw it away, or I can't remember what exactly happened on the play, but it was stupid.
Yeah. I
was just like, how dumb are these guys?
They brought a bunch of pressures with their defensive backs, so that's usually means just throw into it. Especially when the corner comes, you throw where the corner left. That's the easiest way to do something with it. But I don't know, it was weird. That part was very weird to me. So, but yeah, anyway.
Like, you should be heads up enough to break off your route.
I was going to ask your thoughts on Mike LaFleur also being a head coach now, two LaFleur brothers head coaches.
Like I just said, I'm going to say something. It reminds me of retail. It really does.
Retail?
Yes.
NFL coaching is okay.
Yes, because a lot of the times the people who are managers in retail are just ones that are that were there from the beginning and are really dumb, and they just kept going up and up and up the ladder because,
kiss somebody
because they kept taking. No, I don't even know what it is. But like smart guys like me, I'm like, I don't want anything to do with that mess. And they keep treading them up, and then after a year or two, like I'm telling you, at different places I've been, I had 5 different managers in 7 years at Toys R Us. When I was at Macy's, I had, oh my God, 1, 2, I must have had, I think there were 6 different managers in 7 years at Macy's. It's just, I don't know what they're doing. All these companies, and it's the same thing. It's like they just keep bringing somebody up, and then the worst part is this: at both places, at least at Macy's, I know for sure, there was someone who was there who would have been a much better manager, and they bypassed her twice for different, like while she was there, for 2 other people from outside the company that they keep bringing in. So you have someone in the system who knows what's going on, and instead they go and grab somebody from outside the company who's a moron.
It's funny,
even though you know this guy's good. And just the same thing.
Oh
yeah, the Dolphins, they took our good guys.
No, well, that too, but even before that, it was interesting, right? Because during this press conference, it was pre-Super Bowl, and they asked Gute about, John Schneider and Elliott Wolf used to be with the Packers, and both their teams in the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's kind of cool, huh? To see that, all this
It'd
stuff.
be a lot cooler if they were a fucking Packers GM than we were in the Super Bowl.
So how many guys? We picked this one. We had Schneider, we had Elliott Wolf, we had Sully. We had our choices, but we picked this guy and we stuck with him. Great. What the?
Anyways,
it's gonna be.
it's kind of odd to me, and I think what's happening is you're seeing the smartest of the coaches take advantage of it, and that's why they're always the ones who are going to keep going. I mean, the Seahawks guys, this guy, they just hired a guy who's smart and he's awesome. Vrabel, he's going to always win. Even if his team stinks, his team couldn't do jack shit on offense. That's not his fault. He's not an offensive play caller. Josh McDaniels should probably be canned after that game. I'd take one look at it and be like, dude, what the fart is going on here? You couldn't move the ball at all. You should have a plan for this. Like, I'm only the head coach. I can't do everything. Same thing with McVay, freaking Shanahan. And yeah, the guys under them keep getting jobs. Mike McDaniel, weirdo in Miami, he's gone. Kevin O'Connell, all these guys, freaking Mike LaFleur. I don't get it. Just because they worked for a guy who was smart doesn't mean they're smart. and if you would think that they would have learned something, right, on how to do things, but apparently they never learned anything.
That's a good point, JJ. JJ brings this up. Remember how Gute, before we go to our next Gute, remember there are all these years, and we'll do this. We'll recap real quick, but we'll maybe do this even more in depth when it comes to draft time. Maybe that'll be our waiting for the pick to come up. We can talk about all the recent picks that we wish the Packers would have made. But I love watching Protector of the Year, the NFL honors, and seeing 2 of them, players that we wish the Packers had drafted, offensive linemen that in 2021, and they drafted neither of those guys.
Who was that?
Creed Humphrey and Quinn Miners were both up for Protector of the Year out of the 6 or 5 nominees or whatever.
Because they're awesome guys. And everybody knew it. Well, not everybody. Not everybody knew about Quinn Miners, but everybody knew Humphreys was good. And
well, Quinn Miners was right. And Quinn Miners was different because he played tackle in college at Whitewater. Then he went to the Senior Bowl and he was kicking everybody's ass. And then they were trying to tell him that he's got to be a center. So then he was trying to be a center. And the Broncos drafted him and like, no, you're a guard because you played tackle in college, but you're 330 pounds and you're strong as hell and you run block like a maniac. Like, you're a guard. And they let him be guard and he just kicks everybody's ass.
Right.
Now, that goes, there's more, and I can't remember. That comes up in the last thing where Gute talks about the flexibility with the offensive lineman. You know how much that's what he loves. They got to be flexible because they're asking about guys like staying in these spots and working in these spots and all that. No, well, I mean, you know what I love? We got to have that flexibility with them, cross-train all these guys to play all the spots. And he said a really stupid-ass comment, and we'll examine that's at the end. But anyway, that's why he never has good offensive lines because he never picks a guy, realizes what he is, and tells him play him there. He picks a guy to play everywhere, and then they're not good at anything or any place. But Christian Gonzalez was one of the picks that I thought. Remember that year? I thought Gute was going to draft him because he loved drafting cornerbacks. Gonzalez was so fast, and I was actually a little concerned about his tackling ability. But holy shit, he's so fast and good at covering. I'd have been fine if we'd have picked him because he's freaking good. But anyway, Gute did not pull the trigger on that cornerback. He's drafted plenty of cornerbacks, but he decided not to draft that one. Let's hear his next comment here. This one is, it's more about how he's a genius with the players he drafts. This was all in the same press conference, and you tell me what this means to you.
Left.
What about Anthony Belton? What do you see from your rookie tackle this year?
Yeah, really proud of him. I mean, again, he was moving around a little bit early from tackle to guard. Mid-season stepped in there at the right guard spot and brought a different kind of physicality to us, aggressiveness. Love the way he finishes. Really excited to see where his career takes him. I think he's gonna be a impactful player for us moving forward. Still a ton of room for improvement, but I thought for a rookie with what we asked him to do, he did a really nice job.
So it's interesting because he talks about having the flexibility and cross-training guys and moving around and blah, blah, blah. But almost in that lead-in, he makes it sound like, well, I mean, we asked him, had him bounced around a little bit there for a while and da-da-da-da. But then once he got to come in and play guard, he was physical and brought a different, thing to our team. So he's like talking out of both sides of his mouth there once again.
Yeah.
But once again, he's a genius. The player that he drafted just didn't get to play early enough.
Yeah. Gute is going to say whatever he can to make it seem like he's a genius and somebody else fucked it up. It's not my fault that they moved him around all over the place. I drafted him as a guard. I knew he was a guard. 330 pounds. He's a guard. And if they would have said, it's interesting that Belton, he could play guard or he could play tackle or, he's played at both positions this year. He's like, well, yeah, that's why we drafted him because he has that flexibility for us. It's one of those things I like in players, and I saw it, and I could really think it's great. That's the Gute way, man. Whatever you ask him, he's going to tell you whatever it is to make him look like he knows what he's talking about when he doesn't. And we all know the freaking Jordan Morgan situation. Should have never been playing guard the last 2 years. Why? Should have been playing tackle the whole fucking time because that's what he is. He was the 8th best tackle in that draft. We all talked about it. We could have had the best guard in that draft. We could have had fucking Gray Zabel or whichever guy it was. I can't remember which guy was there. We saw Gray Zabel in the Super Bowl this last year with the Seahawks. Packers could have had him. I don't know if it was last year he was a rookie. I think it might have been rookie this year. I don't know. But either way, we could have had that guy. He was like the best guard in the draft. Could have had him. But instead we take, I don't even know, my Golden, who doesn't play, or whatever. I don't know. Same old crap as always. Take the 8th best tackle, and then we're going to move him to guard, where he'll then be the 20th best guard in the league. Genius. He's not even the 20th best guard.
Okay, hold on. You're taking away from how
I can't.
awesome.
I'm just so angry.
His pick of Belton was. His pick of Belton was so great, and it wasn't his fault. He got jockled around, and then they finally moved him in where he should play. And look how great he was. He's physical and big, strong guy. Remember what we said. Remember how much we talked about this leading towards the end of the season when Jordan Love was hurt. Malik Willis was playing great. We talked about Matt LaFleur had a choice. They were losing games when Jordan Love came back, right? And we said Matt LaFleur had a choice. He could choose to save his job. Well, somehow he saved his job anyway. But he could choose to make a bold move when it looked like his job was on the line and play the correct quarterback that fit his system best versus the Gute pick quarterback. But he didn't. He stayed true with his alignment with Gute and laid it in. And now what's happened? Gute is just boom, boom, boom. LaFleur, this is all on you, buddy. I'm great. I did everything right. All the reason we're fading and have failed and let everybody down and fell apart. I mean, I expected we had everything we needed. I gave him everything we needed. Look at all these players I drafted that are great. They just didn't get to play enough. Like every excuse you can have, he's thrown it in this press conference. Amazing. Okay, let's hear a little bit more. We got a couple more from the great GM of the Green Bay Packers. This one. Okay. So talking about the he was asked a couple times about losing late in games. They had a problem finishing games, losing leads, stuff like that. So he just previously talked about how this team had grown into young players, got a lot of experience playing, and all this sort of stuff. And then he was asked this follow-up question here about that
season.
To Jason's veteran question, you were obviously the youngest team in the league the last 3 years. You don't see any connection between being young and some of those late game issues?
I don't.
Not his fault. Those late game issues have nothing to do with the young players, young roster he has. Another interesting thing about during this press conference that he said that nobody was talking about is that when asked about Jason Wilde asked about like older players, getting older players in, like some of these free agents and stuff like that, because you see it in other teams how much of a difference some of these guys at certain spots that you need a starter at have been brought in, and then look what the difference they made. And then you had teams that had a lot of success, and they had plenty of young players, but you had some guys come in like that in certain spots where you needed a starter or a quality player. And he said specifically, if we're going to bring somebody in like that, we're really not looking for somebody for 1 year. We want somebody that can be, multiple years to help us out, blah, 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 blah. So Gute has basically, in his mind, written off the, mercenary 1 year contract guy that a lot of these teams that end up making the Super Bowl or having big runs or big turnarounds or difference making seasons from a year before will bring in a specific guy who's experienced, good, and maybe kind of either on his last legs because of disciplinary things or later in his career, he's not going to get a long contract. They're not doing it. He doesn't want to do it. He just said it. He doesn't really like to do that. We want to bring guys in that are going to be with us for a few years if we're going to do something like that.
Listen, I'm going to say something that Packer fans, a lot of them know already. Our cousin, Corey Bayless, slash Corey Kasich, he said this 5 years ago, I think it was. The year of the Jordan Love draft. He came on our show. This was back when we had trust. We had trust in Gute. We had trust in LaFleur. We had trust in everybody. And our cousin Corey said, listen, man, all they want to do is make sure they're still good enough that fans keep coming to make money so they all have jobs. Basically what he said. He didn't say it quite like that, but that's what he said. Mm-hmm. Andy Herman has said, hey, look at what Gute drafts, and look who's in the pipeline every year, and that's how you know Romeo Doubs is gone. That's how you know Kingsley Enagbare is gone. That's how you know Rasheed Walker is gone, because he drafts the replacements for players a year or two before they're needed. And especially at key positions like tackle and corner and so forth. Bottom line is this. Ed Policy, I think he just wants to keep the train going. His extensions of Gute and LaFleur tell me he's fine with the status quo, what it is.
Mm-hmm. Making money.
Gute, by saying, we're not going to sign a guy to help us win now. We want a guy to help us win for 3 years. So we're going to pass up on the best guy we could get to help us win for the position that we need now and sign a guy who's less good for more money and more years so that we're just good enough to keep winning games and keep the fans happy. But here's the problem. The Bears are starting to figure it out. They have one of the special coaches like Shanahan and McVay that we were talking about earlier. This guy, Ben Johnson, is special. You can't do the status quo anymore because it's going to be bad news. The Bears will eat our lunches. And once the Bears eat our lunches, that's when the Packer fans will revolt. I hope. Because they've been doing this status quo crap for too long. And it's time we start making some moves. And this is a very different press conference from last year. Last year, at the end of the year, Gute's like, it's time for, we got to be more serious. I can't remember what he exactly said, but something like we got to grab the bull by the horns and this is the time to, whatever. These guys need to step up and become players or whatever.
Yep.
Well, he didn't draft the right guys. And it's the same problem with the draft as you just described with his free agency. He doesn't draft the player in the draft who's actually good now, who will help you win until the 3rd or 4th round. He wastes a first-round pick on a freaking lottery guy every year. And then he waits until the 3rd round or 4th round to get a Zach Tom, to get a Evan Williams, to get a Kingsley Enagbare, to get a Romeo Dobbs. And that's the problem. We're lucky those guys are still there, that other teams are dumb and they don't have as many good scouts as we do who can find these guys from smaller schools who have been bounced around or whatever it is. Now everybody bounces around. But that's the biggest thing. And Gute needs to change these plans. His drafts for the 1st and 2nd round are always high upside possibility, huge bust possibility. And they're always draft for the future to help us in the future, not to help us now. So if you are always drafting guys to help you in the future, you're never going to the future because there's always somebody else who then has to take a place of somebody who's there for the future and not now. So your team is always going to have holes. And the only way to accommodate that is to sign the best free agent player who might be long in the tooth, but is a damn good player. As opposed to a guy like Banks or Hobbs, who, you signed them for 4 years, but they aren't that good. So why? I don't know. And thus, there's the problem. We could have had Bobby Wagner. You think Bobby Wagner wanted to stay with the Washington team? He could have came to us last year. We could have had a bunch of guys who are solid, good players who can do things.
Could have taught these linebackers how to play.
Yeah, or offensive linemen. How about instead of signing Banks, sign a decent offensive lineman who's actually maybe got a couple years left that's decent. Or one
You
or
could
2
have
years
signed
left.
You could have signed a couple of decent
The Bears did.
guys.
The Bears
for him.
got guys. The Vikings got 2 guys. Now, one of them got hurt and didn't play much, but still.
And Thuney's not even he's pretty old too, and he's not even
Right.
that big. He's just good. He knows what he's doing.
And who did we get? Banks. Why? I don't know.
Because
Nobody
he's
knows.
big. He's a big guy. Remember, that's all they could say about him. He looks really big out there.
And that's, it seems to me, at least based on what I'm seeing, is policy, LaFleur, maybe not LaFleur, LaFleur, Gute. It's just, hey, how can we keep our jobs and keep making money, guys? Well, we can keep winning. If we keep winning, we can do it. If we make sure we always have something decent for a couple years down the road,
That we
we'll never
have
be bad.
Two
We'll never
down
take,
of a year. Yeah.
right. But look at the Patriots. They were garbage last year.
Yeah.
This year they're in the Super Bowl. Look at the Seahawks. Did anybody pick the Seahawks to get to the Super Bowl before the season started? Did anybody say, oh boy, Sam Darnold, boy, that was a big hit for the Seahawks. They're sure going to win a lot of games when they got to play against the 49ers and the Rams in their division. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, guess what? They made it to the damn Super Bowl and won the damn thing. And why? Because their fucking GM is not a dumbass. He traded for a fucking return man halfway through the fucking year who helped them win playoff games. And our guy says our special teams is good, even though we can't return shit. Are you kidding me? We won a Super Bowl because we had Desmond Howard one year. Hello?
Mm-hmm.
You don't think special teams matters, Gute, you dumbass? It fucking matters.
He only cares about the coverage teams. They asked him about that too, and we didn't even talk about this because I didn't pick out this clip, but they did also ask him about the special teams and all that. And he said how, I think we've put more of an emphasis on getting those, special teamer guys than we have ever in my time here. With some of these guys, he talked about whatever, you had Dallin Levitt a couple of years ago, and then you had, you got Welch and a couple of these dudes, right?
Nyman or whatever his name was.
And it's like, yeah, but those guys are only for coverage, for tackling, for basically covering to hopefully you don't give up a big return. But you didn't put
deep.
Yeah, and you know what? If Keyshawn Nixon doesn't want to return kicks, you tell him then you don't get to play corner either. Like, he was by far our best punt return guy. You have him return punts. I don't care if you're CB1. I don't care. You are awesome at this. You're a difference maker at this. You can help the team win. That's what you tell him. If he says he doesn't want to do it, then you bench his ass. But
No, they're not going to do that.
I don't care. Like, come on. We needed it. The team needed it.
Listen,
But they also don't. You're right. They don't emphasize it. He covers it up. Says he said some bullshit about McManus made 32 kicks in a row before the playoff game. I'm like, what are you talking about? What? He missed kicks after coming back. He missed kicks earlier in the year when he was hurt.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Goody's drunk, dude. He's drunk on his own stupidity. That's all you can say.
Then you got to listen to this next one. What else you got to say before that? You have something else?
I forgot what I was going to say.
All right, it'll come back to you. It'll come back to you. Here, listen to this. You want to talk about drunk on your own stupidity? Listen to this one. All right? Here you go. Ready?
Brian, when you look at this, your Super Bowl teams, do you feel like you're on that par with them, or?
Well, I mean, not the last 5 games, right? I mean,
Jesus Christ.
Here we go.
certainly not. So that's hard to say. But listen, I thought during the year that we could compete with anyone, and I think we proved that through the season. At the end of the day, we didn't evolve and develop into a team that could consistently win when we needed to, and that's
Okay.
what we have to do, right? But I thought our guys, there was many moments where we showed up in big moments and won some games and played well in some highly competitive situations. So again, we were 9-3-1 heading into Denver and felt really good about our football team and where we might be able to go. It didn't turn out that way, and then I think now we're in this evaluation period of, okay, let's make sure we do everything we can so that doesn't happen again.
So, just kind of digesting that a little bit.
We could do a drinking game on how many times he said that they lost the last 5 games. I could be as drunk as Goody is, except I'd be drunk on actual alcohol, not on his own stupidity like he is. Well, I guess technically it's his own stupidity because it'd be based on what he says that makes me drink.
I mean, everything they needed to win all the games. He had thought they're on par with the Super Bowl teams. I mean, besides the last 5 games, of course, we lost those. But yeah, I looked at the season. We just didn't evolve into the team that we were supposed to be. Well, whose fault is that? Why didn't you evolve into is coaching again? Coaching again? He freaking killed the coaching so bad in this whole thing, time and time again. And then hammered on the losing the last 5 games. I mean, I don't know how nobody was talking about that shit. I don't know how nobody. No, I didn't see it anywhere else. But I listened to this one time and I was like, Jesus, he's at it again. Everything is a shot at LaFleur and the coaches, left and right. Unbelievable, man.
It's interesting because I think Matt LaFleur is smart enough to hear those things and figure it out. You know what I'm saying? But I think Goody's. Do you know why I think Goody's doing this? Because he watched Ben Johnson take shots at LaFleur all season, and LaFleur just took it like a bitch. And I think Goody's like, LaFleur's a bitch. I'll take shots at him over my press conference, and he won't do anything about it because he's a freaking wuss. And I think that's what he's doing. He knows listen, if I was like, hey, you're gonna die because someone's coming to kill you. You can either have Goody or LaFleur there to protect you. I'm picking Goody because Goody is ruthless. Goody don't give a shit. Goody will throw you under the bus. He'll do whatever he has to save you. I'll be like, Goody, you got to save me and do whatever you got to do. And he'll be like, okay. I'll be like, LaFleur, you got to save me. Do whatever you got to do. And he was like, well, I mean, I really, Joe Barry's one of my best friends, so I really don't want to fire him. And, and I'm like, well, Joe Barry would have stabbed me by now, LaFleur. What the fuck? Get over there and help me. And that's the thing. I think Goody is just like, you know what? I don't think he feels any pressure.
Nope.
From policy. I think policy, especially with the extension now. Mm-hmm. And yeah, LaFleur got the extension too, but I think he must have a ear to policy that LaFleur doesn't have. Because let's face it, he's the GM. He's got plenty more time to go and hang out with policy and talk to him, where LaFleur's got to come up with game plans and all this other shit. So, Goody's got the ear of policy the whole time. Mm-hmm. That's what's going on. He ain't worried. I don't know, man. This is going to end up badly. I got a bad feeling. And Jordan Love, by the way, too, just to change the subject.
Yeah, go for it.
I don't know, man.
He said he played great. He said he played his best
saw-
season, and he's amazing, and he's.
I saw his interview with Chris Sims and Florio, and I'm just like, I think Love thinks he's like the man. I think he honestly thinks he's the man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you are far from the man. Far from the man. But his coach is not helping him. I'm just going to say that too. His
Sure.
coach is not helping him. He could be better with better play calls. And LaFleur does not give him the opportunity to have good plays called.
Yeah. Florida.
No, but he also, I
his
don't know.
offense.
Yeah, I don't know. It's odd. I don't know, man. I don't know why. Why do I even? I mean, it kind of sucks. It kind of sucks that we grew up in Green Bay area and we have to be Packer fans because that's just the way it is. It's in our blood.
There's plenty
But
of dumb, like GMs and management of teams all over the place, right? There's
I
just
know.
a lot of them. A lot of
But
them.
I don't want to be a fan of a team I don't have belief in. I don't have any belief in the coach. I don't have any belief in the GM. I don't have any belief in the quarterback, really. Like, they have to show me. I've said it. Prove it to me. Prove to me that you guys can figure it out.
Yeah, they haven't.
And they haven't. Continuously, they've done the same mistakes over and over and over and over. But like I said earlier, I don't know if it's really a mistake in Gute's face. I think Gute is doing exactly what he's planning to do. Always be prepared for 2 years down the road. Instead of taking advantage of the now. And you might say his trade for Micah Parsons was, we're going for it now. And I think he was going for it now. And I think it was a decent move to do. But he was forced to do it because of his terrible draft picks in Gary and LVN. And he was forced to get a difference maker at a position that he had already stockpiled.
Vikings thought their GM was a genius last offseason. Yeah.
Who's
And,
Bill? He's new. Let's see what he's got to
Bill's
say.
new. Hey, Bill, what do we got to say here? Did you really expect Gute to express anger towards his players and coaches? However, he could have demonstrated more disappointment for a man who is committed to urgency. Hey, Bill, I
That's
can't
the
go
word.
back.
Urgency was the word from last year.
That
Thanks,
was
Bill.
Yep. That was the word last year. The thing we'll say is we didn't expect him to express anger towards players or coaches. I just didn't expect him to continually throw Matt LaFleur under the bus,
Right.
left and right, by also propping himself up left and right. Like this whole press conference was repeatedly him saying his picks, the players he gave, the team was ready, everything was there. I'm a genius. Look how great this player was that I picked.
This
Look how
guy
great
had
this
his
player-
opportunities. He
This
made
guy was
plays.
great. He just didn't get
Yep.
enough playing time.
Yep.
But look how well he did when he was there. Like, basically, that's all he kept saying was, I'm great. I did everything right. The coaching, we lost 5 games in a row. The coaches didn't figure it out. The coaches couldn't get it together. The coaches couldn't get this team to evolve into what they should have been.
Yeah.
That's what he kept saying. So that's what we're displaying. That's what I'm displaying here tonight, Bill.
And
Because it's crazy to me that publicly this GM with a guy who this head coach and GM started at the same time, first time
No.
head coach, first time GM.
Gute was there first. A year.
Oh, that's right.
Gute
Gute was there for yeah, that's right. That's right. You're right. Okay, my mistake. But Gute, they're both first time in their roles. Now I know Matt LaFleur is new to the organization, so I guess that's one thing. And Gute's been around forever. So Gute's been a Packer guy forever. So I guess he's got more clout and probably, a lot more leash than Matt LaFleur should get because of that. And he feels empowered by it. But it's amazing to me that he just kept throwing his coach under the bus in this press conference, and also nobody's talking about it. Let's see. What did you have to say here, Bill? Maybe frustrated that LaFleur doesn't report to him. I don't know. Maybe not.
I agree. I think
he wants to be.
I think he's trying to lay that seed, Bill. I think with this press conference, by continuously saying, well, they lost 5 games in a row. We need to we need to know how to do that. And that's what this offseason is here to figure that out. Well, maybe part of figuring that out is having him be in charge of LaFleur. And I'm pretty sure they reported that policy wanted to go back to that structure when he took over as president back in the summer. But now they're saying that's not happening. So maybe Gute was expecting that to happen after the season.
So
And then now a policy said that's not going to happen. So now maybe Gute's mad. So he's continuously throwing LaFleur under the bus over and over. That could be it too. What bottom line is, Bill, you are correct. There is some friction there now that is caused, and Gute is doing subtle jabs. He's doing the jabs, and LaFleur is going to keep taking it. And how is LaFleur going to respond? And how will the team respond? And will the team be successful? Those are all questions that need to be answered. But the bottom line that we say is the roster is a problem because of Gute. But the play calling is a problem because of LaFleur.
And we just brought them both back.
Right. So what's going to change? That's why me as a Packer fan, growing up in Northeast Wisconsin, and loving the Packers even in the 80s when they were terrible. Like, John Jefferson was my favorite guy. Paul Kaufman in the mid 80s, early 80s when they sucked, but they scored a lot of points back then. The defense was awful. Those were the days of, I bled green and gold when I was a kid, didn't know anything about football. I was just like, John Jefferson, he catches everything. Awesome. James Lofton, all these guys. Eddie Lee Ivory, you name the guys. Not Paul Hornung, that was way before my time, actually, but you know what I'm saying. But those type of guys. Ron Holstrom. Remember Ron Holstrom on the offensive line, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So, and they weren't good. They lost a lot of games. It took the Magic Man, 1989, with Tim Harris, the sack man, and frickin' Sterling Sharp, the magic, awesome, incredible wide receiver to actually win games that year and win 10 games. And it was awesome. And that was what made me love the Packers. They didn't even make the playoffs that year, but it's my favorite season of the Packers of all time. Because it made you believe. Because they seemed to put the game on their backs and make a play. Sterling Sharp could make a play. Mikowski could make a play. Tim Harris could get the sack when you needed it. This team doesn't have any players that can do that other than Tucker Kraft right now. I can't think of another, and maybe Micah Parsons. Those are the only two players who I think, man, we need to play. Can they make a play? And I believe if they gave the ball to Tucker Kraft, he would make a play. I believe if they needed a defensive play to happen, I think Micah Parsons could make that play. But that's it. The quarterback, I don't believe that he can make that play. I don't think he could put the team on his back and win a game. Because he's had an 18-point lead and couldn't freaking hang on to the freaking lead. And that's a problem. That's a problem when you can't do anything in the whole second half and you're a $50 million quarterback. $55 million a year quarterback.
55, yeah.
You're supposed to be the difference maker. You should never lose a game that you had 18-point win or 18-point lead at halftime in the playoffs, even if you are an away team. Doesn't matter. If you're a $55 million quarterback, that's a win. That is a win. And it wasn't. So who can you find on this team to go with and believe in and say, that's an awesome player? Tucker Kraft, who was a third-round pick.
And Gute didn't even want him. That wasn't his pick.
Right.
That wasn't his pick.
Right. And Micah Parsons, who we had to trade 2 first-round picks just to get. That's not good. When Evan Williams, a 4th-round pick, is considered your best defensive secondary player, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem. And that's GM problem. But it's obvious the GM is not the problem in his own mind.
Nope.
And
He thinks he
did. Has no problem. So
everything
those are, and I hate it. Like a lot of people are like, well, you guys are so negative. Remember last week we did a show with the Bears fan. It was like, you guys are the most negative Packers fans ever. It's like, well, yeah, we are, because we see the fucking truth and it bothers us. I don't want to watch the same shit I've been watching, and it's this what they're going to keep doing.
They will not win a Super Bowl with this approach. These guys in charge doing the same thing. It's proven they're not going to win a Super Bowl. That's just bottom line.
But this is the scary part, because I work someplace and I had a Giants fan who's been coming in had a couple projects done, and we've been talking about the Giants.
Okay.
And he said, he's like, man, I'd rather be a Packer fan. Because remember how we had that one thing about maybe 5 years ago, and I said that about, would you rather be a Giants fan and win the Super Bowl and then suck for like 5-6 years, then win a Super Bowl and suck for 5-6 years or whatever?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, it sucks being bad. He's like, it's terrible. I'd rather at least have a winning season every year and try to do something and know that my team is actually good. And that's what he told me.
Yeah.
And I mean, and maybe we're spoiled because we've won so much and we expect even more. And we haven't had a team that's awful, god awful since, the Mike McCarthy year he got canned. That was like a 4-win year that year because they were so freaking terrible. And Aaron Rodgers threw the ball away out of bounds on third down a bunch.
Yeah.
And that was on purpose to get freaking McCarthy fired. There's no way he's going back to the Steelers and McCarthy's the head coach. I don't know what anybody. Some people are saying that. I'm like, no, he's going to the Vikings. Anyways.
Yeah, go the
So,
Vikings, Rodgers.
That's the other part that I think Ed Policy is worried about. If he does make a change, does this turn into the Jets? Does this turn into the Browns? Does this turn into the Titans? Does this turn into the Cardinals? Where we're on an endless cycle of screw-ups because maybe he made the wrong hire. Where at least now we have guys who are somewhat capable of doing their jobs. They're not great, but they're not terrible at their jobs. They're actually decent. Like Matt LaFleur is a decent head coach. He's okay.
That's true.
He's good. He's not one of the best.
He makes terrible. He makes pretty good game plans. He just isn't good at adjusting in game.
Right.
That's his issue. So if his plan works, they look good. If his plan doesn't work, they struggle. Gute, we're not sure about because the track record
still has good players on the team.
Yeah, but the track record is, and we're going to find out. We're going to find out. We're going to find out with how important Sully was to this player evaluation group, and how many good scouts did he take with him to Miami, or ends up taking with him to Miami, and then are those good player evaluations no longer in place? And all of a sudden, the Packers can't find a good player in any round, and then the well dries up pretty fast. So I don't know. One last thing. Now, just because we've heard Gute say over and over how much of a genius he is and how his picks are great and the players he drafts did so great when they got a chance. In this clip, he will prove to you that he's a total moron once again, and I'll explain to you why after. And there's proof from actual football players who played in the NFL. And we have a more recent explanation of it and example of it. But let's hear what he said first. This one was Brian Gutekunst, whatever he is, however you say it. And he's asked about another great pick that he made, Jordan Morgan.
I think Jordan Morgan played 4 different positions so far in his career. Do you guys need to have him just focus on left tackle this offseason if you guys plan for him to start there next year?
I think it would be ideal. I think it's unrealistic. I think we're going to probably have to cross-train all these guys. I do sometimes think if you can keep a guy on the side, a left or right, it's helpful for him a little bit. But his versatility certainly has helped us. I mean, that was one of the reasons that drew us to him in the draft, and certainly his ability to play all those spots has been a benefit to us. But certainly he's going to get a lot of opportunity. I thought he played really well in the preseason at that spot. Probably did enough to win that job, but then it had some injuries, and we had to do what was best for the team. So we'll kind of see how it goes. But I think he's excited probably to kind of hunker down in one spot as well. But that's not always the case in the National Football League. So,
okay, a lot to unpack in that bit. Let's start with his, first of all, that was a Matt Schneidman. Sounds like his voice. Give credit to him for asking the question. Asking the very obvious question, do you think the guy you drafted to be left tackle should be left tackle and just focus on that? And his, answer is, well, I mean, I don't think we, you can do that. We got to cross-train all these guys, blah, 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 blah.
No, you don't. You know why you don't have to cross-train all these guys? Because you have 5 spots. And you take the best 5 guys and you play them at their 5 best spots. If one guy's a left tackle, he fucking plays left tackle and he perfects left tackle. You ever hear of, master, what is it? Jack of all trades, master of none. That's what you're getting every year because you don't let these guys be what they are supposed to be. Now, your 6th, 7th, 8th guy, sure. That guy can train at every position and learn every position because he might have to come in at a moment's notice and play here, or here. Mm-hmm. But if somebody is your best left tackle, that guy, if he's not injured, should be playing left tackle. If somebody is your best center, that guy, if he's not injured, should be playing center, and so forth, all across the offensive line. No more of this. Move this guy here, move him here, and, well, we'll see if he's better here or there, or who's better here. No. You know what you want. If you have a guy who's 300-plus pounds, put him at guard because he'll probably kick some ass. If you have a guy who's skinny and not very strong, don't put him at guard. Put him at tackle. If you have a guy like Zach Tom, who's 300 pounds, but he's athletic and quick and can do all kinds of things, he could play center or he could play tackle. Okay, and then keep him at tackle then. But make these guys do one thing so they can train that one thing and learn how to do that one thing and then be good at that one thing. Well, how come Jair always got to play the same side of the field his entire career, but the offensive linemen have to learn every 5 different spots? They never had Jair move around with the best corner or the best wide receiver. He just played his side of the field all the time. Why is that? But the offensive linemen have to learn 5 different spots and not become better at their positions? It's dumb.
Do you remember when Brian Bulaga was drafted? Right? Wasn't good enough to play left tackle, so he's playing right tackle, right? And then I don't remember if it was his second year or third year. Then he had to play. Then they decided they were moving him to the left side, and he was going to play left tackle because Chad Clifton retired or whatever or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And he talked about how hard it was to retrain everything, how everything was opposite, right? He had worked this whole thing on the right side. The footwork was this way. The hand placement was this way. All the stuff was this way. And now he had to learn it all. And he had a whole off season. And he had to like do all. And they were like well into knowing this was happening. So him and I think 2 guys were moving from right to left that season. So they were both.
Who is this? Who are you talking about? Bakhtiari?
Brian Bulaga.
Bulaga?
Yeah. So it was like the season after Clifton retired, they took him from right tackle. They had going to make him left tackle, and then they had some other guard, I think, switched with him to the left side. And they both talked about how hard it was to go from right to left and do everything opposite what they had been doing for like 2 years. And they had all this time to work on it, knew it was happening, and they were still struggling with it in training camp and in the preseason. And so that's a change from left to right. And in his statement here, I'll show you how dumb he is. He just said
he wants to keep him on one side.
No. He said it would be. I think it might be helpful to keep him on right or left. Keeping on right or left can be helpful. But, blah, 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 blah. We're going to have these guys train every spot and learn. Blah, 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 blah. No, keep them on right or left is not more than helpful. It's essential. If you want the guys to be successful, they're literally doing the opposite foot placement and hand placement, and their brains have to work completely opposite by switching one side to the other. And you're going to have a dude who's just like, plug him in over here. Next week, you're in over here. Next week, you're on this side. Next week, you're this. No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. These guys are not good enough. They're barely starting caliber offensive linemen on this team. And did you also hear in him talking about Jordan Morgan, was it a backhanded shot that he said he played through the preseason, thought he did enough good things to win that job, and then got hurt? But then we didn't see him when he came back. He wasn't inserted at left tackle again, was he? Because he was so good in the preseason.
No.
It sounded like another coaching decision. Like, oh, well, he got hurt. So
well, it's also him saving his ass when they don't sign back Rasheed Walker by him saying, oh, well, he thought he earned that spot in the preseason. That's just a little subtle jab of saying, hey, fans, Rasheed Walker's not coming back, which we all know already anyways because we can't afford him. Yeah. That's fine. We know that. I mean, even the question was asked, hey, should we have Jordan Morgan practice left tackle because he's going to be starting there next year because you have nobody else? That's what should have been the question. Hey, Gute, remember how you drafted this guy to play left tackle and then you never played him there and now you have to because you have nobody else? Is he going to actually play left tackle? Are you going to let him play left tackle? Are you going to actually have him train at left tackle and actually you will play left tackle? That's what the question should have been. And Gute's answer was, yeah, because I thought he almost run. I mean, I thought he won this. He played good enough to win the spot in the preseason. That's him saying, bye, Rasheed Walker. We all know it. He's gone, just like Romeo Doubs is gone. Two players who have played damn good football for us. Now, Rasheed Walker had some stink this year.
Yeah.
He didn't look as good. He still has the big dog problem where he doesn't play through the whistle. He kind of stops after blocking after about a second or two. Then he's like, I'm done. which is bad. So I'm not at all upset about watching Rasheed Walker go. I think he's a solid player, especially for a 7th-round pick. I think we got a lot out of a 7th-round pick for that player. However, I don't know. Maybe Jordan Morgan could be good. He could maybe be a good left tackle. I don't know. We haven't seen him play.
He's got to be better than Will Campbell, who was getting his ass whipped left and right at the Super Bowl.
Will Campbell, I'm going to say one more thing.
That guy got destroyed
From what
every
I
play
know,
almost.
Drake May is supposedly an athletic quarterback. Why was he not running more in this game?
I don't know.
Why was he not just getting out of the pocket and going crazy and forcing the defense to look at him and like be worried about this scrambling quarterback that I heard he's just athletic quarterback, scrambling quarterback, blah, blah, blah. He didn't do anything.
I know. Neither guy ran much in this game. It was weird. I'm like,
and there was plays, that one play where that white D tackle for the Seahawks kicked the shit out of that dude with the helmet. But that took a long time. That ball could have been thrown away. That he could have definitely got away from that.
yeah.
If he had any brain, like if he had any type of awareness of what's around.
Hey, he
him.
never even got to.
I mean, he's right in front of you, and the pocket is moving backwards. This guy's getting his ass kicked, but he was trying to hold him off the best he could.
Yeah.
You can't tell me a fast quarterback could outrun a white D tackle. Pretty sure he could. He didn't. He just sat there and got tackled.
I know.
So, I don't know, man. I just think it's what needs to happen is running a right tackle. What?
No, he said, I mean, right guard. I thought Morgan was drafted to replace Runyon at right guard.
No, he wasn't.
I'm pretty sure he's making a joke because
I hope so.
Otherwise, why would you draft a guard?
Yes, then you could have drafted an actually good guard. Who actually I think that was the year the guy who went to who's the guy who went to the Tampa Bay? I think that's what it was.
Graham Barton.
That was the guy I wanted. Yeah. Gray Zabel was this year. Graham Barton was the guy I wanted, and they took Jordan Morgan. Now maybe Graham Barton was gone before Jordan Morgan was drafted. I can't remember exactly.
I don't think so.
I don't remember. But what I do know is this: we had multiple opportunities in every year to take a very good offensive lineman, whether it was a guard or a center.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't
draft those in the first round.
We took a pass rusher at 13 who I don't know what he is. LVN. I don't know. We took Gary. I don't know what he is. I don't know what he is. He's not a player.
tweener.
He's not a football player.
Yeah.
He's not fast enough to put any pressure on the quarterback, and he's not big enough to hold up against the run. I just don't know what he is. He's not good. He doesn't fit any scheme that we want to play.
It's weird. Hey, that was one thing I was pulling for.
Yeah, that's a great story.
I was pulling for him. I was pulling for him to win it. He now has as many Super Bowls as Aaron Rodgers. He's just as good as Aaron Rodgers now.
I will say this though, Sam
Super Bowl
Darnold.
ticker.
That first quarter, there was probably about 4 balls. Sam Darnold got antsy and just chucked the ball into seriously tight coverage. And I was like, dude, you better look out. That's going to get picked yet. But no turnovers the entire playoffs for the Seahawks.
That's crazy.
That is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they had played one less game than everybody else because they were the number 1 seed, but still.
Yeah.
No turnovers in 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good. I mean, the whole team. No fumbles, no interceptions, nothing.
I'm not going to say, well, I will say it. I really wanted Charles Cross, too, the Packers to draft him.
Yes. Listen, you can always go back and look at the Eagles, the Seahawks. What's another team? Their drafts are always perfect. They just draft good players that everybody knows are going to be good. and then you're sitting there wondering why. And then there's teams like the Packers who just take some random Eric Stokes. Why did we take Eric Stokes? It was on nobody's radar. Nobody. And we take Eric Stokes. It's just,
JJ wants a real center. I don't know if we're going to get it.
It's the same crap. Jay Quills. Who's Jay Quills?
Jay Quills says, why are y'all still fans if it's the same crap?
Because, dude, I grew up in...
Because we have to be.
Algoma, Wisconsin.
Because our mom and dad made us be, especially mom, made us be
especially
fans.
Mom. I don't know if dad's even really...
Yeah, you probably can't even see this picture here. I don't know if I can make it bigger. But the little icon up in the corner, that's us. One of the early Christmases, we both got helmets and shoulder pads and the whole thing, football pants. That's when it started, man.
Because we were Packer fans. We were football fans. And, when you're a fan of Packers since you're freaking 7 years old or whatever the hell we are there, 7, 8 years old.
Want them to be good.
That's your team. You stick with them.
Yeah. But it doesn't mean you give the GM and the coach a pass. It doesn't mean you buy their garbage every year.
You can't.
They keep telling you they're trying to win Super Bowls. No, we're showing you they're not.
And the sad part is we've seen him do the right things at times. We've seen Matt LaFleur special type plays. We've seen Aaron Rodgers get mad because he didn't have to do anything on a play where he threw a touchdown pass because it was a great play called up by Matt LaFleur. We've seen it, so we know he can call great plays because we've seen it with our own eyes. And Jordan Love needs to have those same plays called for him, but he has not. And that's something that Bill was talking about earlier. He thinks, hey, if I think Jordan Love's a good player if he gets the chance and gets the play calls and gets some protection. Yes. I mean, any quarterback is a good player if they get all those things. But I do, yes, believe Jordan Love has a good arm. I do think he's pretty smart. I do think he's got accuracy. I like the way he can, stay in the pocket and kind of back up and get the ball, throw the ball away. What I would like to see more of is plays in rhythm to players so they can run after the catch. A lot of his passes downfield are just chuck it up and hope the guy can make a play. And now, I don't know if that's him or if it's LaFleur's crappy play calling or the guys can't get open or I don't know what it is, right? They found a way to produce big plays from that situation, but that's what leads to the 3-and-outs and the lulls in the offense, which have happened the last 2 years with Love as the quarterback. With Love as the quarterback, the offense has stagnant drives often, and it happens in every game. It's not like all of a sudden one game it happens. No. It'll be like an entire quarter where the ball does not move down the field. And I don't know if it's Love. I don't know if it's the play calling. I don't know if it's both. But something bad happens. And the worst part is we saw with Malik Willis, that doesn't happen. It's a different type of player. It's a different type of play calls. Matt LaFleur calls more of these different runs, and I think the defense is a little more worried about Malik Willis's running, and therefore maybe it gives options for other players to be open because Love does not fast. He doesn't scare anybody, just like Josh Jacobs doesn't scare anybody. So if your running back doesn't scare anybody and your quarterback don't scare anybody, the defense does not have to worry about that sort of pressure. They can cover receivers better and not worry. The key is Watson, Kraft, and Golden need to be the guys who touch the ball the most for us to be successful. And LaFleur needs to realize it. And if he doesn't, the reporters need to press him. It's time for the reporters to get on him and say, hey, and they did it. Remember after Tucker Kraft's big game, they said, hey, LaFleur, when you see a guy like, can you run the offense around your tight end? And he's like, well, I'd be dumb not to. Well, then you were dumb for 2.5 years, you dumbass. And that's all you have to say. Like, if I was the reporter, I'd be like, well, it seems like you were dumb for 2.5 years. Are you going to be smart now? Like, that's mean, but it's what needs to happen to get it through to these coaches.
Oh, snap, Bill. You're leading us into more stuff. No. It's also the operation is more difficult to execute a play with only 6 seconds on the play clock. Bill, did you happen to notice when Malik Willis was in the game? We pointed this out during those games, and I asked the question, and not a single person asked Matt LaFleur this question, but I was wanting to ask him, like, why in the last game when Malik was playing, why were we snapping the ball with 19 seconds on the play clock and 15 seconds on the play clock and 16 seconds on the play clock? And it almost never got down to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 like we do with Jordan Love almost every single time. Why is that? Why is that? Why was that happening? I don't know. Nobody has the answer because nobody asked the question that can actually try to get an answer. But we don't know if it's Jordan Love. We don't know if it's Matt LaFleur not knowing what to do when what plays to call when Jordan Love's in there versus just calling his offense when a quarterback who can run his offense the way he likes is in there. We don't know if it's Aaron Rodgers taught Jordan Love to just stand around and try to get all the tells.
I mean, it's not as bad. Love's not as bad as Rodgers was, but it's still pretty bad.
It's the same thing.
When you call a timeout and then have a delay game coming out of the timeout in a playoff game, and I told you I watched that play, it was Love's fault. That was Love's fault.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because he tried to check and change things and move things around when there was only 6 seconds left. Just run the goddamn play, dude.
Yeah, run the play.
You can't change things around when there's only 6 seconds left. Your guys are going to get screwed up and things are going to go wrong.
It makes me yearn for the Brett Favre years where Mike
Just
Holmgren
call
tried
the
to give him a play. Just pick one, and I'll run it.
Pick one and I'll run it and I'll make it work. Yeah. You got to say, listen, I hate to say this, but after every year I start to be like, damn, maybe Favre, it was not so bad having Favre. I don't know. He would drive me nuts when he'd throw all those picks and do stupid, crazy stuff, but God dang it, if he wasn't like accurate and crazy as heck, and I'll say this, with Favre was out there, I thought we always had a chance to win every single game. Period. And even if we were down by 2 touchdowns, I'd be like, I think we can come back. But if we're down by 2 touchdowns with Aaron Rodgers, I know we're not coming back because Aaron Rodgers didn't want to hurt his stats, so he would not throw into tight coverage. He would just give up. And Jordan Love, I don't think, has the ability to come back when you're down by 2 scores. So he did it one time against the Saints. His first year he started. Remember, that was one time where he actually, because there was no play calls then. He just called every play. It was a no huddle offense. He just did whatever he wanted, and that seemed to work better than the Matt LaFleur play calls.
That is better for him because that
I know it
fits
is
him better. That we talked about that too. That Matt LaFleur's offense, Jordan Love is not the ideal quarterback. He doesn't have the right skill set for Matt LaFleur's ideal offense, the way you want to run this offense. Malik Willis does. Now, Malik Willis is going to leave. People are saying he might get $45 million over 2 years, Ben.
He's
over 2 years.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is pretty cheap if you're going to let him start. Damn.
Yeah, it's good.
But I wish Malik Willis well. I hope he does great wherever he goes. I hope he goes to the Dolphins, like we said, but that's the obvious one. Yeah. Look, this is what we have. We have this GM. We kept this coach. I'm just saying they've shown you they're not going to do the right things to get the Packers over the hump to win another Super Bowl. So I am not going to buy into any Super Bowl aspirations the Packers talk about or have and expect it to happen, even get there until there's a change at the top there. The one thing about Gute talking about, Ben, never taking like those guys, bringing in those 1-year guys or those guys that fill out teams sometimes. Last time the Packers won the Super Bowl, and I could be wrong on a couple of these, and maybe they're not all 1-year guys, but there were definitely some dudes on that team that were just brought in, including Mark Tauscher that year, who came out of retirement just to help kind of stabilize the offensive line for a while. I know
Howard Green,
Charlie Pepra, Howard Green. Howard Green was definitely brought in. Ryan Pickett, I think, was on a short contract initially. I think he got like maybe another year after or 2 years after. These were important players that the Packers brought in because they had all those damn injuries and other stuff, and they helped fill out the roster. And they were guys. They were like veteran guys who were not on this team previously. They were not long-term solutions. They were get decent, good quality players that we can put on the field that will help us win. And they were critical to that. Who's another guy in here? Yeah. Colin Jenkins was a monster.
No,
but
he
was on his rookie contract, but he was so good. Yeah. He was so good.
Well, that defensive line was, with Pickett and Colin Jenkins, and who was the other tackle? Or defensive end?
How
am I forgetting his name?
I can't remember. Howard Green was definitely in there sometimes.
Was Ryan Pickett? Did Ryan Pickett play D end that year? Yes, he did because he said Spillett Pickett.
Yep.
Yeah, but Ryan Pickett was normally a D tackle, but he played D end that year.
Yep.
Yeah. Spillett Pickett, because that was because Clay was on the outside.
Yep.
Yeah.
Scotty.
But that
Wells.
that's Scotty Wells. That's another guy. He wasn't drafted by the Packers. He was an
undrafted
guy.
He was a 7th round draft pick.
Oh, he was? Oh, okay.
Yep.
Great
Tremont
player.
was not drafted by the Packers, and he was there.
Tremont was awesome.
Eric Walden was good for those years.
Yeah, pass rush specialist.
Yeah.
And he went to the Chiefs and played.
Brandon Chiller was on that team.
Brandon Chiller went to the Chiefs too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Eric Walden went to the Colts. That's what it was. And Brandon Chiller went to the Chiefs.
Desmond Bishop was on that team.
Desmond Bishop was the shit. Yeah, B.J. Raji. How do we forget about him? He was playing D tackle too.
Yep. Oh, that's right. Yeah, he made the big play.
And Howard,
he was the guy in the middle. But so those guys are important, man. And
think about that. Colin Jenkins was 300 pounds. And Pickett was 320 pounds at defensive end.
Colin Jenkins is a monster too. He was
freaking
He is
awesome.
mean. Mike Daniels talked about that one thing in his long, winding podcast postseason. He brought up Colin Jenkins, how nasty he was. Like
Those guys, we need some mean
strong as
guys.
hell.
I don't know. I
That's what
just want to see big, tough, strong, mean guys. Maybe they don't exist anymore. I mean, this is a different era of human beings. Like these young guys are just not. They want to be TikTok stars or whatever, and they want to be social media guys, and they want to be cool, and they want to make a bunch of money. They don't care about being tough and kicking the crap out of other people. That's why when you see like Bullard, who gets pissed after games and starts, being mad, that's a guy I don't want to smack somebody, and I'm all for it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I don't know if he's a great player, but I like his demeanor. So I'm okay with Bullard. I like him on the team. Like there are guys on this team who I can follow. I can get behind. But are there enough of them to make a difference? That's the part that's scary.
That's a good point, Bill. Bill just looked it up. Packers were next to last in average play clock at 7.3 seconds, and that's with the Willis games where it was up higher. If it would probably be lower than that if Malik didn't play any of those games.
And I don't know if it's a LaFleur. I don't know what it is.
There's no flow to the offense then.
Think back to the Aaron Rodgers early years, 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, when we had 70 plays a game on offense. We were scoring and we were moving the ball. We'd have 300 yards. Like Jordan Love gets like 100, 200 yards passing. Everybody's like, oh, Jordan Love had a great game. He doesn't get enough opportunities to even have 300 yards passing.
Yeah, they get like 60 plays or something. That's it.
It's like ridiculous. And then when you waste all that clock, and then your defense is playing bend but don't break, that's even less opportunity for you to have plays on offense.
Yep.
Which puts more pressure on your quarterback and your offense to be successful and then move the ball, and then they get tight and then they screw up. And when you watch the Seahawks play and the Patriots defenses, when they're that aggressive, if you're on offense, you can be like, hey, we can screw up a couple times. Let's take some shots. Let's do some stuff because these guys will make a big difference for us. And that's, I don't know. It's a problem that needs to be fixed, and I don't know why the reporters aren't asking it. Like somebody needs to be asking these questions. They're key questions to LaFleur. And Gute got asked the questions. I'll say this: the reporters asked him the questions that need to be asked, and Gute just didn't answer them, or he slid around it, or he brought up 5 losses in a row to throw LaFleur under the bus. So that's one thing. So I appreciate the reporters in this press conference because they asked the right questions. Gute just gave us nothing, like usual.
Yeah.
Where LaFleur, they don't ask him the right questions. Because it's schematics, and I don't think that the reporters understand what to ask. You know what I mean? I don't think they understand football enough to know why there's a problem or what could be successful. I don't know.
I get it. Like, because you and I have been there, right? We used to, full disclosure, anybody that's new to our show or whatever, we used to work in TV. We used to work for a TV station. We went to actually cover Packer games a couple times for that TV station. And so so we've been at press conferences before. It was a long time ago, but we've been there. But I get when you're watching the game and you're on site and you're not seeing all the TV and you're watching the game in person, and then you're seeing stats and different things. Like, you don't always, like, all this stuff you can't always think of right after the game, or it's not as obvious to you right after the game.
This is for the Wednesday press conference.
But these guys they get to go back.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And that's when and LaFleur gets a chance to look at the tape, so he can't give you I got to look at the tape answer. He's had his chance to look at the tape.
The bullshit answer.
That's when you give him the questions that really should highlight all the issues or highlight the things that need to be corrected or fixed. And these guys just miss it. They just don't do it half the time. It's weird to me. I don't know if they're, I get it. You want to keep a decent relationship with the coach. You don't want to put him on the spot too much. But some of this stuff, like, come on, man. You're in the room. You have those credentials. You are our representation. We, the fans, want to hear the answers to these questions. We want to know. We want something. And you're this person that's supposed to help us get it, and you're not doing your job right. Yeah. So, anyway. McCarthy didn't have those issues with his offense. It was a different time then. They stopped the clock more often. I think they stopped it more times with people incomplete passes. throughout the game. Now it's only like, incomplete passes, going out of bounds. They only stop it at certain times, like last 5 minutes, blah, blah, blah. So I get it. So they wanted to speed up the game. That's why they did that clock things. Those are changes. But it still doesn't excuse, it's if you look at it now, it's really weird in the NFL. Almost no one goes up tempo anymore, Ben.
Yeah,
Almost no one does. It's weird. Remember how effective that was? Remember how when like your offense wasn't going well and teams would just be like, well, let's just try something different because the first 2 series we sucked. Well, let's go up tempo and just try to get some rhythm going.
Well, not only that, it does 2 things. It forces the defense to be on the field longer. They don't know what's going on, so they have to exert way more energy on plays because they have to react. Offense knows exactly what's going on, right? Yep. And they can't sub. So the guys that are on the field get tired quicker because they have to work harder. And they can't sub, so you can take advantage of it eventually if you can somehow get the drive to go get a couple first downs. You're definitely going to put the defense at a disadvantage. And why people don't do it now, I don't know. I mean, remember the days when the Lions, they never in the Bills, right? The Jim Kelly Bills and the Detroit Lions with the run and shoot.
The old Houston Oilers with Warren Moon.
Yeah, and Warren Moon with those 90s, those 3 teams in the 90s never ever huddled. Like they just got up and went. Every time they had so many passes, so many plays. You're talking 400, 500 yards. Jim Kelly, 400 yards passing like almost every other week. Warren Moon throwing a crap ton of passes. And remember the what's his name, Herman Moore and Johnny Morton, Lions scoring points left and right, and freaking Barry Sanders running all over the goddamn place. And it's like, their defenses were bad, but they scored a lot of points. Mm-hmm. And nobody does it anymore. And I don't know. It's weird. But it's because I think what it is the coaches have too much of an ego. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They want to call the plays and make sure that the thing is this is why we're good, is because I called a good play. And so they don't want to give the credit to the quarterback or the team itself. Because a lot of times you do those no-huddle offenses, the quarterbacks are the guys who are calling the plays, or at least getting guys lined up, or it's a system that everybody knows what's going on. It's a little simpler. Mm-hmm. But it's something that, because it's simple, everybody knows what the hell's going on. They can run the play right. Nobody fucks up. Nobody's running the wrong route.
Yeah.
Where it's been reported that's happened to the Packers this year, last year, and the year before with all these young guys at their route running positions.
Well, and when you always want to, try to counter what you see and get the exact perfect play and all this sort of stuff, you're going to just, at what cost? At what cost are you trying to do that, right? Like, it takes all the flow out of the offense. The defense is always ready. I mean, you never catch them off guard because you're just so damn slow and deliberate. And you're trying to get your tells and you're trying to change this and change that and blah, blah, blah. And, just run the play, man. Just be Favre and say, pick one. And I'll run it. Just pick one. I'll run it. And sometimes if you run it and it's a good defensive call against your play, then you lose that down. But guess what? You lose downs other times anyway for other reasons. So just run it.
Yeah.
And also know what you want to do and what your team is good at and do that. Do that. And if
the whole identity thing.
Stop that.
That's the other thing is this team the Packers have had an identity for years now. Their identity is done having one. That's the problem. When you watch that Seahawks game, that Super Bowl, you saw what their identity was. We're aggressive, and we're going to smack the piss out of you. And then we're going to run the ball.
Yep.
And we're going to be smart with our quarterback, and he's going to make accurate throws and not do anything too dumb. And there you go. And that's not a bad identity to have because we just won.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. I think it's weird. And we can talk about this. We could do like a freaking 20-hour show if we wanted. But the other thing that's weird is Gute gets LaFleur these big 300-pound guys at Banks and Belton. Mm-hmm. But LaFleur still calls his, what do they call that? Outside zone runs where you need guys who are athletic and quick who can get out instead of calling plays where you just get your big beef and sit on a freaking guy and move him.
Mm-hmm. Like Charles Cross.
Yeah, like, what are we doing?
He's good at that.
Well, yeah, the Seahawks, that's all they did. They just sat on a guy and moved him. And then, and Kenneth Walker's like, okay, who's moving the furthest down? Okay, that guy is. I'm going to follow him. That's all he did. He waited to see who got the best push and fouled the guy with the best push. And sometimes it took him all the way to the outside, which happened a lot in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes sometimes I think he did kind of just jump to the outside too quick on some runs I watched. But, hey, he still got positive yards a lot of times. But I think Goody's like giving him these big guys, and LaFleur is still calling plays for, young
290-pound guys.
290-pound guys who can move and get it in space. Like even when he drafted Josh Myers, who was a big center, it didn't fit. We watched Josh Myers had to snap the ball, then go and pull and run around, and he just miss guys and fall down and not block anybody. And you're like, what is the point of this guy? This is the wrong player for the scheme you're running.
Yeah.
Where Creed Humphrey, that's a guy who's 290-something, and he's quick and agile. He's got quick feet, and he can move.
Mm-hmm.
That's the guy for that scheme.
Yeah, Brewer, too, from Miami. He's smaller, too, and quicker. Like, those guys still exist, but if you don't have one, then don't do that stuff.
Yeah, and LaFleur needs to learn that. If Goody's going to give him the big guys, and I don't blame Goody for giving the big guys when you're playing outdoors in Wisconsin. I think that's a smart move. Use your beef and sit on your D tackle and move the line of scrimmage. I've said that before. But if you do that, then you can't have the pass play option, see? Because your guys are pushing forward and moving the ball, which means it is a run. It's going to be a run. But guess what? I don't give a fart if you can move the ball. Freaking idiot. I don't know.
Well, if you're interested in hearing things that no one pointed out about, and you came on late and you're interested in hearing things no one pointed out about what Goody said and how many times he threw Matt LaFleur and coaching under the bus, and also how many times he said he's a genius, basically, and how he's super smart and all the players he drafts are great, go back and watch the first hour of this show. Otherwise, congrats to Sammy D, and it's nice to see him win one. It's also John Schneider, former Packer guy. He's put together nice teams over there. And
I won't forgive him for getting rid of Matt Hasselbeck. That was a dick move.
Yeah. And also extra sweet because the Vikings let Sam Darnold go, and then now he's Super Bowl.
I'll just say, living in Minnesota is fun right now for some of these guys. They're at their wits' end. I had a guy come in the other day, and he brought something in, and it had green and it had yellow, like a goldish yellow color to it. And I was like, oh well, I think you might be able to get away with some like a yellow gold here. And he's like, I can't put this in my house if it's green and gold. Not right now. I just can't do it. It's not going to happen. My Vikings brain will not. I will not want to see this in my house every day. We got to pick a different color for this. And I was like, okay, I understand. That's fine. But he was upset. He talked to me about that was Monday, and he was saying, he's like, we had him. We had the guy who won the Super Bowl, and we let him go. But here's the thing: a lot of the Viking fans, when it happened, were like, yeah, Sam Darnold sucked at the last 2 games of the year, and he's not good. You can't win the big game. It's fine. We believe in our coach and our GM to give us J.J. McCarthy. Well, that was a mistake. And so there you go. And now the Vikings are in quarterback purgatory, which is the worst place to be, which we haven't had in a long time. I'll say this: at least Jordan Love is better than average quarterback, and that's good. Yeah. That's good. That's better than what the Vikings have right now. Which
means right now you're a Viking fan. You're at Aaron Rodgers' leisure at this point. You're playing his game, and he'll do whatever he wants until whenever he wants, and then maybe he'll come and grace you with his presence. Maybe.
Either way, it's going to be hilarious. One of 2 things is going to happen. He'll come back and play with the Steelers with Big Mike, and it'll be a disaster area, which is going to be sad.
You don't think McCarthy will really trust him with that, though?
No, McCarthy would be like, please, let him go, please. But they have nobody, though. I mean, the Steelers have no quarterback, dude.
Well, there's talks they might go after Willis, though.
Okay. Well, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And the Vikings, if Rodgers goes to the Vikings, which is what he wanted to do last year anyways, then we can beat the crap out of him, and that'd be awesome. He still wants to. I think he wants to get that win against the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
Because he wants to be like Favre. He wants to not have Favre be the only quarterback. Or actually, I think Brady's probably done it too by now. But who's won against every NFL team. He has a victory against every NFL team. Aaron Rodgers does not have that victory against the Packers. And he wants it. And if he goes to the Vikings, he'll get 2 cracks at it, and that's what he wants. He wants to be that guy who's had a victory against every single team in the NFL, just like Bart Favre. Bart Favre.
Oh, it'd be hilarious. It'd be so funny. But yeah, I think it'll be fun to see it. There's some interesting things. We'll see how it all goes. But yeah, you made the question last time about saying again how the Vikings GM was kind of a ding dong, and you'd heard
The very
Kevin
next day, he got fired. I know.
and you were like, I wonder whose decision that was to like let Sam Darnold go, and like, well, we found out because yeah, Kevin O'Connell throughout the season had talked up Sam Darnold, and I know he had to, but also I really think it was genuine. Like he really believed in him and probably wanted him to stick around. And the GM was like, "No, I drafted this kid. This is our guy." So
I think the GM is also the reason why Kirk Cousins was gone.
Mm-hmm.
I think the GM is also the reason why Sam Darnold was not signed back, and I think that was the reason why the Wilfs. And then when Sam Darnold won the playoff game to go to the Super Bowl, the Wilfs had enough, and they were like, "Nah, goodbye. You traded for T.J. Hawkinson, and then the Lions used those picks to get Jameson Williams and frickin' what's his face Laporta, who's better than T.J. Hawkinson. We could have just drafted Laporta and not given a big, huge contract to T.J. Hawkinson, and we'd have had a better frickin' tight end. You dumbass Kwesi Adolfo Mensa. Whatever.
all right.
At least we didn't have him as our GM. His draft was even worse than Goody's drafts, by the way.
That's
Even
fair.
worse.
That's fair. And Goody's not the worst. He's just one of the
not the
most.
worst. Well-
he's one of the most arrogant for sure.
Yeah, right. He's the smuggest of all the smugs.
Oh God! All right, enjoy the off season. We'll take a break from doing shows for a while, unless the Packers do something crazy, but I don't anticipate that happening. And then we'll just see how it goes. But keep your notifications on, like we talked about before, because next time something interesting happens, we'll pop on and do a show. But we'll probably take a little time off for now. Bro, good talking to you. Everybody else, thanks for chiming in. Appreciate everybody that was here, and even some new people popping on again. Thanks for all that.
Yeah.
But-
Jake Walls, Bill, thanks for leaving comments and joining in on the conversation. We like it.
All right, be good, y'all. Take care of yourselves, and we'll catch you here in a month or two, somewhere in that neck of the woods.